Conservative media gets a free pass for hate speech. Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no. And I'll bring you the results later on in the show. And I guess you could say that CNN has found Lou Dobbs #2. Joining me now is Eric Burns. He is the president of Media Matters for America. Mr. Burns, good to have you with us. How long, how does a guy like this get a job after all the documented hate that this guy has put out there? What does it tell us about where CNN is going?
Well, it tells us that it's really about ratings and not about delivering hard news, which is really unfortunate because, as you know, Ed, as well as I do, CNN, prides itself on being the most trusted name in news. And just to give you an idea of how far CNN executives went to help Erick Erickson clean up his image, they put him on reliable sources with media critic Howard Kurtz over a week ago to address some of these horrific things that he's written on his blog and said in the past. And to wit, he, on the program apologized, said he needed to grow up, said that they were stupid things that he shouldn't have written about, even talked in the segment about understanding as an adult the real impact it has on his family when his wife leaves the house and she's then, talked to by somebody on the street, that his words actually resonate with people and have an impact. And then 4 days later, a whole 4 days go by, and on his brand new radio show, that's where he threatened to pull out his wife's shotgun on the ACS worker.
And of course, we've had a death threat on a United States senator in the state of Washington. And I remember going to, of all places, a football clinic once where Tom Landry, the former head coach who's passed away some years ago, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, said that the First Amendment of the Constitution is not a freedom of speech to go around and say whatever you want. It's a responsibility.
Absolutely.
And I was a young guy at the time, and I said, this is Tom Landry kind of going into areas that football coaches normally don't go. And I've always remembered that. And, you have to draw the line about when you're joking, when you're doing a parody, or when you're actually believing what you say, and it's not a joke. And when someone goes on the air and says, I'm going to meet a census worker, and I'm not going to fill this out, and they're going to be met with a shotgun, what does that tell other Americans around this country, that it's okay to act out your emotions with a firearm?
That is exactly what it says to them. That's why this rhetoric is so dangerous. It's why the rhetoric we've seen from the right, the fear-mongering and the angst and anger that it's designed to instill in Americans in a very difficult time in our nation's history, that's exactly what it does. And I just wonder who's going to have to get shot, how much violence we're actually going to have to withstand in this country before we wake up and see that and expose this right-wing, violent, incendiary rhetoric and hate speech for what it is. It's shocking and disappointing that CNN once again, after such a struggle to really get CNN to see the light with Lou Dobbs and move on from there, to have them jump once again into the fray with Erick Erickson, and even though they tried to clean him up, they couldn't do it. This is who he is, and I'll tell you, he lied to every one of his viewers. He lied to Howard Kurtz when he got up there, on reliable sources last week, and said, "Oh, I'm not going to do this again. I've grown up. I'm all better now. I'm going to be responsible." We clearly see he's not going to. And what I want to know is, what is CNN going to do about it? Because so far they haven't said anything.
Eric Burns, good to have you with us.